welcome to another episode of the Jason and Bart Show. He's Jason, I'm Bart, and we have another guest, one of my favorite people in the bureau,
Yes.
Andy.
Aww.
You are my favorite.
Thank you. That's so nice.
So
I bet you say that to all your guests.
Andy, but you are really one of my favorites.
Oh.
Wow, you went from the favorite to one of the favorites very quickly there.
Well, no,
I don't know if you. I don't know
I
if
mean,
you
I hate
saw
Jason.
precipitous
I hate
drop
Jason,
in
so
the-
there's that.
There you go. See, I start at the bottom and try to work my way up. That's the difference. No, it's funny actually because I agree, Bart. Right, Andy is one of the really great owners that I've come across the last 10 years. Not just she's a phenomenal person, a better person than she is an owner, although she's a great owner. But we were in Costa Rica last November, and we had just started the show in October, and so I had gone down there, and I knew immediately that both she and Zooey were going to be on the show at some point. So I think when we have you back, I'd love to have you both back. I think.
Oh yeah,
it'd be really interesting to have that dynamic too. But anyway, let's tell the audience who we're talking to. Hi, so we're talking to Andi Graham today. Andi is the founder and CEO of Big C. Big C is a marketing agency that empowers mission-based organizations to amplify their purpose through impactful storytelling. She's been the founder and CEO since 2005. And they are currently a distributed team of about 30 industry veterans providing growth strategy, storytelling, digital marketing, and website development services to nonprofits, museums, and research institutions around the country. Andi Graham, welcome to the Jason and Bart Show.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. Always fun to talk to you guys.
Someday we'll be able to afford all the sound
laugh
effects.
tracks. Yes,
that's right. Exactly.
Audience background.
So 2005, right? Let's start there. As the founder and CEO of Big C, you've likely encountered a variety of milestones throughout your journey, right? Over the last coming up on almost 20 years now, right? Could you share a particular moment, a memorable moment or achievement that stands out and how it impacted the trajectory of Big C over that period of time? Because obviously you've been on a nice, not without ups and downs, which I'm sure you'll talk about, but on a nice steady climb up and to the right. So
yeah, I think that's actually a great framing of it, because there are as many milestones as there are in the great perfect direction, there is just as many in the other direction. And so it really is the zigzag line that does slowly, on the average, we're on the median, we're moving up and to the right, but there's certainly some ups and downs. So I honestly think one of the very best things that I've done for the business was deciding to merge my agency in 2016. Yeah, with Zooey's agency. I had been solopreneur and mom to a very young child and a little bit older child for, the first 11 years, trying to build a business, but also maintain time for the family. And also I didn't know what I was doing, because in 2005, there weren't a lot of people building websites at agencies. And so we were all just trying to figure out what that looked like. And so the process surrounding it, the tools we were using, all those things were just kind of a wild west. And I was tired, and I probably hadn't taken a vacation where I was fully disconnected in that full 10 or 11 years. I have a great story of being on a ski lift, answering phone calls from clients because a server was down and my lead dev who was doing DevOps wasn't answering. And, I'm just like, I'm on vacation, let me go. But, I think pulling in a partner, you guys know how active I am in our agency owner community. I love feedback, and it makes I love to share, but I also love receiving and reading everybody's really thoughtful insights and comments and experiences to help make decisions. And so having a business partner now is one of the best and just most rewarding things that I think I've brought to the table. And I know so many people feel the opposite. You never give up ownership, you never give up this, and you never give up that. But the quality of life that I have now is so astronomically better than it was when I was a solopreneur that there's no money in the world worth still being here, even if I was the king of the mountain on the top by myself. So I really love having somebody who's in it with me at the same commitment level, at the same capacity that I am. So
because it's kind of hard to go to your employees to do that.
It's
literally
lonely
at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's lonely at the top. Yeah.
And I think I actually lost an employee who was like, I can't take the stress. Like, I know everything going on. She was our lead project manager in that, like 2012 or something, when we were going through a tough project build. She's like, I can't handle like knowing all of it. I don't want to know all of it. I just want to deal with my window, you know. Okay, I don't know who to talk
to. What led up to the merger itself? I know obviously having a partner, but like what actually like transpired a little bit to that merger?
Sure. They were another local agency. So we were competing for a lot of the same projects in the Tampa Bay area. So anytime there was a museum or an education or a, you know, higher ed, or there was a business, you name it, like all of the public institutions, we were competing always with them. Like they were always on the roster of agencies we were competing against. And I knew our strengths versus theirs. And I knew their strengths versus ours. And what I honestly liked was that Zooey is very much a sort of behind the scenes operator.
Yep.
And he is extremely invested in culture and really maintaining connections with our team. It's something I probably don't excel at. I'm probably giving myself like more credit than I deserve by saying it so lightly, but I know that it's like vital and I really put a lot of energy into it, but I'm not the most, I don't know. I'm a very direct person. And so I know that I rub people the wrong way sometimes when I'm being so direct. And so he is soft and just squishy and lovable. And he's one of the most kind, truly to the core humans. And so I think we really complement each other well. So anyways, we'd seen each other a lot. We started having lunches together and we called it co-commiseration, where we'd kind of talk about things. We were, of course, sharing client things and, hey, don't take them if we just fired them. You don't want to take this one on, that kind of a thing. But also talking about great talent and things like that. And at one point we're like, why are we just not doing this together? Why don't we, you know, you have this team that complements our team in this way. Let's figure out how we can do this better together. So they had obviously solved some of the problems we were struggling and vice versa. So it was really just sort of a fortuitous, we had both, I think we both had like between 11 and 13 employees at the time. So it was a pretty much a merger of equals that brought us up to the next, you know, doubled our size.
That's great. You had, and that's the only merger you have, or did you guys bought another little company too, not long ago, right?
We've done a couple, yeah. So we actually acquired a Shopify development agency in 2019, I think, something like that, where they had a partner who was kind of looking to make an exit. He had built a great company. They had some really big clients that were on their roster, and a great team. And we acquired them, helped them build a little bit, and a year later we actually sold. So we sold it back to once we righted the ship, then he was like, could I buy it back from you? And we're like, sure, not a problem. So
that's it. That's definitely an interesting way to go about it.
But at a larger multiple than when you acquired it.
Yeah, we did okay. I think he was expecting we would be more involved, and he wanted to pull out more than he was able to. And so I think once he realized that our expectation was that, no, he's staying on to run the business, because it was not part of Big C. It was like its own, we don't do Shopify. So it was completely a separate agency with their own clients, their own team, all of those things. We moved them onto our benefits plan and payroll and things like that and did shared back office, but that was about it. But I think, yeah, once he realized like, oh, I'm still in charge of, you know, running this thing, he was like, I might as well just get my ownership back. So
Sure.
we're like, yeah.
So totally two different experiences.
Totally two different experiences. Yeah. Well, and then 2 years later, just a year and a half ago, in March of 2022, we acquired an agency that was, again, doubled us in size. So that was, but that was a full acquisition. So that was a big one where we brought on 22 new faces.
So Big C is becoming Big C.
Yeah, it was that.
So you're not 30 anymore then?
No, we are now. So we acquired them, and then over the year have sort of established that we had far more redundancies. We actually abolished they had a whole video studio. We didn't want it in the acquisition, and we tried to separate it out, but it wasn't its own LLC. And so we had to take that team and all the equipment, but they had their own P&L, and it was a 4-person team, and they were losing between $20,000 and $40,000 a month.
Oof.
And so within the first 6 weeks, we were like, we're done. We're going to finish these contracts and walk away from that piece. So
I think Jason just killed over.
No, it was the second part. I'm very happy to hear it only took them 6 weeks. A lot of people would take a lot longer.
Yes. But that was a big culture thing because, you know, they were promised everybody was coming over with the acquisition and we weren't going to lay anyone off, and the numbers, we couldn't sustain it. That was ridiculous. So it was tough.
Interesting. Jason, I'm gonna hit up to you there, sir.
Sure. We kind of talked a little bit about strategy and decision making that kind of led to your growth. A lot of it's through like M&A. But operating a success, you talked about not being, and you and I are a bit alike like this, can be direct and probably can come across a little bit less personable than we intend to sometimes, right? So like totally feel you on that. But we know that building a successful agency requires having like a super strong team, right? And that means softer skills like culture and values. It means, you know, harder skills like aptitude and capability and so on, competency and so on and so forth. How do you approach team building? What qualities do you look for when you're bringing somebody onto the team? I guess this could be both production and I guess leadership and management. Certainly, as you've grown, you've established probably more of a management layer too.
Yeah, we definitely have a management, and we have a management of management layer. So it is, you know, everybody wants a path upwards, but at small agencies, there's not always the next step upwards. And so that is a tough thing we struggle with for sure. You know, we can't we're not growing at a pace where we're adding 5 new roles every 6 months so that there's always a new managerial role or next step. But we tend to hire, we've had incredible luck hiring outside agency life. So we are looking for a non-traditional path to becoming an expert in whatever area of focus that we're hiring for. So we have a PhD in English who runs our creative department. I have a PhD in English who actually taught herself Python and is the most badass SEO you will ever talk to in your life, running our SEO department. You know, we've done a really good job of bringing folks in. Our design director right now came from product design. She's from Chewy. She was at Outdoorsy before that. So it's I tend to find people who, when we hire people from agencies, a lot of times we expect they're going to bring in all kinds of great ideas and how wonderfully the agency they were at was doing things. And you find that they're just like, just tell me what to do and how to do it. I hated how we worked at this other place. And so it doesn't really behoove us, aside from the fact that they're used to the cadence, pace, and often context switching that's required at an agency. That's a little bit different when you bring somebody in from outside agency life, but that's one thing we look for. And we also find those people are a lot more aligned with the culture that we're trying to build, which is not a traditional agency culture. I know that sounds crazy and you'll cringe at this too, but like we have 32.5 booked hours a week for people. That's it. Like everything else is gravy. And so we have a lot of flexibility in scheduling. We have low expectations from that sort of how much time you're putting in, but I have extremely high expectations from quality. And so I'd rather hire somebody who knows their, you know, area of expertise and less about how to game the harvest time clock and things like that, which is what a lot of agency folks bring in. So
then I assume your pricing is not based on time and materials. The majority of it is something else.
Yeah, we have the most complex pricing that you could possibly imagine. Some of it is time and materials. So yeah.
Gotcha.
It's the full menu.
It is the full menu. If you name a pricing strategy in any capacity, we use it in something. I have media, we have commissions, we have, you know, time and materials, we have fixed fees, we have value priced, which I think is fixed fees, let's all be honest. We have, I have media commissions, but we also have margin on media stuff that we sell. So there's both of those. And then there's, you know, I don't know, it's everything. We have retainers, lots of retainers.
Your PhDs in English must be excellent with ChatGPT.
One is, and one is not.
Interesting.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
what is
they're definitely going to watch this,
is?
and so they'll know. One of them is an SEO who's like, how much more can I do? How much faster can I do it? You know, it's all about production and getting it into the world. The other one is an English, you know, literature, every word matters, generative AI could never do what we do. And so I think that's a struggle because I hop on every single bandwagon. I'm a salesperson's dream when it comes to SaaS. Like, you put something in front of me, shiny object, and I'm like, yes. So
this will automate it.
Yeah, exactly. So what I've been doing is like finding use cases in our workflows. I actually took over 2 client projects in the past 6 months just so I could figure out places in the workflows that I could incorporate different AI tools. And I'd spend, even though our budget was maybe 2 hours to do a task, I'd spend 6 testing it across different tools, see what works, see what didn't. And then I'd write a little SOP on like, hey, here's the ChatGPT login. Here's what we're doing to run the analysis on this survey that we sent out, that sort of a thing. So we've figured out points in every single process that we've set up, AI to help us speed up. And then one of the tasks that I'm sending out to all of our creative leads, so design director, development director, and content director, are a plan for AI for the next 6 months. Like, what are you doing now? What are you testing and experimenting? And what do we expect will be the outcomes of it? And then how are we measuring those things? So we're setting up meetings to get to that point next.
It's ironic because when I graduated, I was an English major and business econ major, but as an English major, everybody was like, you're never going to find a job in the real world. Like, maybe you'll be a teacher or whatever. Certainly not going to be a developer. And so it's, when you said that one of the PhD in English had taught themselves Python, I was thinking to myself, it's ironic that the best prompters using ChatGPT to code will be people who can articulate the best prompts, right? And those are probably going to be English majors.
And it was funny because I had to explain that to our copywriters as well, who are copywriters are both they're both master's degrees, right? So they're the same way. They didn't want to touch it. And so I kept telling them, like, you guys don't understand. You can get better outputs out of this than anyone else who's using it because you know what to ask for it to change. You know how to use language to describe things in a different way. So
but Bart always says, and he's so right on this, is people who understand that it's augmentative, right? Instead of it's not going to replace but it's additional, it's enhancement.
I mean, for the longest time, Jason and I had this conversation about, the people are going, oh, prompt engineers. I'm like, for the moment, yes. But end of the day, everybody's going to be one. Everybody's going to use it. And then and the better you understand language and how to talk or actually say things, the better you're going to be at it. That means copywriters are perfect people for this. You know what I mean? Like, they're perfect to do this. They just got to get over that hump of, this is not replacing you. This is just helping you and making it faster. We actually just we're working on a client. We're actually working on something like that with AI, and it was spitting out some funny things, but then we got, within 5 minutes of changing things in language and changing that, we got to a point where it's, for the client, it's making sense for them. They're like, yeah, this is great. And we can actually sell it this way for that project. And it works. And it's like, we did that in 5 minutes instead of trying to figure something out over a week. You know what I mean? Like, it just speeds up the process, but you still got to be there. Still got to do that.
I completely agree with that. We have been playing a little bit with some of the walled garden tools that are out there as well, like writer.com, where you can upload proprietary information. We have a client that does industrial, like LED lighting, and they've got really technical manuals. And so all the copy and content we're producing for them is very highly technical. But when you can feed an LLM with all of their data and all of their product descriptions and all of their technical, resources, it makes it a lot faster, because it's not the correct data. So.
Take this boring, really technical document. Can you make it funny?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and all of a sudden you have this fun documentation that actually is technical, but also funny at the same time. If you do it, correctly.
I also think operationally, like, it's the thing that's going to allow you to still let people work a 32.5-hour week.
100, 100%.
You know what I mean? And like, that's how we are able to do these things, because the clients their expectations don't go down by a half a day.
Nope.
Right, so.
We have them asking us more like, why aren't you doing more for us now that these tools are available? Right? Why are we still only getting 2 blog posts a week or whatever that is? So it's a lot. But we recently decided to niche into the mission-driven organizations. It's a lot of factors leading up to that, but just being tired of, we love our mission-driven orgs and we have a really good product there. And so I'm working on sort of a framework that outlines what the marketing product is that we sell to them right now. And so that's the classic use case of if we can do more with less, those are the people we're going to do it for. But the truth is it's a testing grounds, right? So I have a year or two to figure out how can I do so much more with less that now we can offer that to entirely other industries who are also at this level. So I really, we have a couple enterprise level clients, and we have a lot of mid-market clients, and we have some SMBs. I love our SMBs and small mid-market clients the most. They have passion, they're interested in the results, they care about what we're doing. Sometimes it's overbearing, but that's why that perfect sort of entry mid-market person or group or team is where we like to be, so that they're like interested, but they're also knowledgeable. They have some level of experience and expertise. We're not their first agency. We might be their third, something like that. So, yeah.
When you say mission driven, are you talking about B Corps and 501c3s or?
Yeah, mostly 501c3s. We do have some B Corp clients as well. We work with nonprofits that are actually in spaces that you might not consider. And so we have nonprofits who are just affordable housing providers. And so they don't do fundraising per se, but we're just, helping them with affordable, brand building and things like that. We also have a client that's an insurance company that's a nonprofit that's been around since 1862. And it's like a fraternal brother of Serbian something or other or something, so it's, you don't know that these like actual, what you would think to be a for-profit organization were originally, a nonprofit. And so we still use a lot of the tools and technologies, and we still have clients across a lot of different industries, but that is slowly changing as we wash out. So
yeah, would never imagine insurance to be a nonprofit.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's life insurance and a few other annuity products. And one of the favorite reports we get from them on a regular basis, because we manage their HubSpot instance, is the death report of people that we need to delete from their database.
Off the list.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's funny. Can you talk about? We talked about sort of a milestone, so a little bit of a positive, right? Can you talk about a unique challenge that you faced over the years as well, and sort of how your leadership team and yourself sort of collaborated in their respective roles to overcome it?
That's a good question. This past year has been that for us. It has been one of the most challenging years, integrating two agencies with the economy completely freezing up and all of our deal flow slowing down. And we're already heavy because we're trying to find work for all these new faces. And so it is nice. We have some very, very, very long-term employees and some great leaders who came together and were like, these are the changes we need to make. We had to go through layoffs for the first time in our history. And I think I'm not a direct manager of anybody on my team except for two leaders. And so we really had to rely on their ability to sell the story of our stability. And the truth is, when people are doing layoffs, it's not because you're going under, right? Like, we did layoffs so that we could support the team at a healthy place and maintain profitability and all of those things. So sharing that piece of the puzzle was like, no, we're not losing money. Look at all this revenue we have booked for the next year. But, at the same time, it was
based on redundancies after the mergers. Yeah.
There's redundancies, and then just, an attrition of, I will say this, I do not think we did our due diligence as well as we should have before the acquisition on the client relationships. And I think that the way that they worked with their clients was very different than the way we worked with our clients, even though we're selling the same products.
Got it.
So they were very much in a vendor relationship with their clients. They didn't track time. So their team did not love that we had to start tracking time. And they were just bending over backwards to do anything their clients asked. And so when we had them start tracking time, and we'd see that, like, you're over servicing these clients by almost double. And that's not fair. And so then we had to start making changes to the client relationships. We started realizing we are far overstaffed. These people who were working 40 hours really only should have been working 10 hours or whatever that looked like. And so the more data we had month after month started revealing a lot of both bad client fit and bad people fit when it came to sort of servicing those things. So I feel really strong. We still have a lot of the core folks who kind of helped us wade through all of that, and also the client transitions that had to happen, because obviously there's a lot of moving points of contact and things like that.
Sure.
So It's been good. But now we're in a better spot now, I think, than we have been in a long time. Like the past 3 months have felt really solid. I know our production team are super busy, so they don't feel great about it, but I'd rather they feel super busy than worried about like, are we going under? You know, what's happening here. So
yeah, it's always the toughest. With those challenges, what kind of professional development have you done or doing currently that kind of progressed over those years and just like helped you with those kind of challenges?
None.
Trial by fire.
Attending bureau events and webinars and things like that. I mean, I do watch a lot of things. I've gone through some of the manager tools and things like that. I don't feel like I am professionally trained to do what I do in any capacity. I read a lot. I learn a lot. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
That is an answer. I mean, that's not to say you don't do it. Yeah, exactly. That's not. I think most of us are self-taught to a large degree.
It's been super helpful to have this community of bureau of agency owners to lean on with the bigger questions. And, I've been doing it, like you said, almost 20 years. And so I feel like every lesson I've learned, I've been able to move forward from and approach in a different way in the future. So
that was just thinking about, we spend a lot of time as leaders thinking about how do we give access and opportunity to our teams in terms of their professional development. But to your point, think about Andi Graham, founder and CEO in 2005, and now think about her today.
Oh, yeah.
You're not the same person from like your experience and everything, but you've also had to iterate across 2 decades now, right? Your clients change, the industries you're servicing change, your services have changed, the people you work with have changed. That's a lot of change, right? And a lot of iteration. So don't sell yourself short. Reading is probably the best way to adapt.
To be fair, I just want to interject that we do have 6 clients who have been with us since then. So the clients have changed, but a lot of them have stayed exactly the same. We're on like round 3 of website redesigns for a lot of clients right now. So,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I mean, Jason, I don't know you have those long claim clients, but we turned 13 this year and we have somebody that's been with us for 12. So it's always nice to have like this long term
type of legacy clients. Yes.
Yeah. And it's always fun to like go get them.
For sure. Yeah. Andi, this was awesome. Thank you so much. We got one final question for you before you go, that Bart asked to every guest.
So first of all, where people can find you. So we can do the plugs.
Plug yourself.
Good. I'm at Big C. I don't know where else you can find me. AndiGraham.co, but I don't really use that. You can find me on LinkedIn, Andi Graham at Big C.
With an I.
All about.
Yeah. I don't use Twitter. I don't,
X,
it's not Twitter
Andi,
anymore. It's X.
Come on.
And that's exactly why I don't use it. Yeah.
Our final question, which is always the fun one, is what are you currently obsessed with?
This is going to be, I assume I can go personal or professional.
You can go anywhere you would like.
You like it when it's not work.
Okay.
It's more interesting.
Yeah. This is a deep obsession. Like my husband is very sick of this. I have planned our entire life starting the day my daughter moves out of the house. She is 14 and starting high school in 2 weeks. And I already have the RV we are buying, exactly the route we're taking around the US, a list of campgrounds and places we're going to stay. I'm between 2 different models, to be fair, but we need to go check them out in person. But like, I'm already in the like owner groups on Facebook. Like I'm in it. So, and I'm just envisioning our life. We
love
it in the woods with our coffee.
All I see is there's Andi constantly on her phone has a counter that's just counting down like 4 years from now, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like they're not even going to make those models. Like those models are going to be obsolete.
She's like, honey, it's only 3 years, 11 months, 27 days, 14 hours.
I love
it. That's awesome.
So,
That's
awesome. Love this kind of way. It's Jason's 2 in a row now. 2 in a row.
Those are 2 good ones. Yeah.
2 good ones. I love it.
It was Todd Dynkirk last week from 4 Kitchens.
And it was something. That episode is out, so you should check it out.
I gotta go watch it. Yeah, I love Todd.
Andi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Fantastic.
It's awesome.
It was good to talk to you guys.
For sure. We'll do it again. We'll bring Zooey on for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll do that next year. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we see
you
guys
bye guys
next time.
Bye everybody.